What's up, B2? Capital G here. Got a nice Abyss Actor duel for you guys to check out, showing off what some of the new support can do. Man, that card Comic Relief, I think I definitely underrated it a bit. You can definitely do some work with the card as the Pendulum Scale and then as the monster effect as well. It's interesting. I don't know that there's another like card in Yu-Gi-Oh where the Pendulum Scale and the monster effect kind of work in unison, but that's what happens with this card. You use the Pendulum Scale to force it on the field as a monster to your opponent's side of the field. Then they have to blow up one of your Abyss, one of your set Abyss scripts, or they have to blow up one of your set spell or traps. Generally, you're only going to have those script spell sets, and then you can kind of go plus a million, and then obviously things like Heavy Metaphors, Electromites still make the deck, obviously have some explosive power because Electromite just helps all Pendulum decks in general. So this is a duel on Dueling Book. I believe that that this is going to be facing off against the Gradle deck, like a Gradle Kaiju variant, which, obviously Gradle is not the most meta deck or anything like that. It's just a little display. Don't take this as, this is a meta deck or anything like that. All right, so you guys are used to seeing Curtain Riser because of like Pendulum Magicians, but this is actually just a straight up, version of Abyss Actors. People forget that that is actually their card. So Electromite without using your Pendulum Summon. Ash Blossom, I believe, was used on the Electromite effect when Electromite went to draw a card, so Electromite won't get that, but it's fine because he still has his Pendulum Summon, so he can still Pendulum Summon a bunch of monsters, and, I mean, it's pretty decent board. You're ending up with 3 monsters on board. He is going to get Kaiju'd, unfortunately, so bye-bye Electromite, and then Gradle Cobra is going to attack. Now, Gradle Cobra doesn't take that much damage. I think his opponent didn't understand quite how the Gradles work. You get to choose the monster that you snatch Steel, and he's going to actually take the Gamma Seal. So you give your opponent the Gamma Seal, you take it back, and you end up taking out 2 monsters with 1 attack. That's not bad. Now he actually did, because the leading lady was destroyed by battle, she did actually allow him to set one of his Abyss script spells. He got the copy of the Rise of the Abyss King. If this is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you get 2 Abyss cards from your deck to your hand. I don't think it has to be monsters. I'm pretty sure it can search other spells as well. So he's going to go ahead and Pendulum Summon a bunch of monsters. I believe that was 4, and I'm not sure why Gradle Split was used there. Doesn't really, I don't think he really did anything with that. I mean, maybe I was just missing something here. Now, he did actually use it just now. What he did was, since he had the copy of Comic Relief on his side of the field, and since he happened to have the Comic Relief and his Pendulum Scale both, what he did was he said, oh, you want to snatch steal my Kaiju? I will snatch steal the Kaiju right back, my friend. So he ends up giving his opponent the Comic Relief with the Pendulum effect of Comic Relief, and then he takes the Kaiju. Now the thing is, the Kaiju has to, or the Comic Relief has to blow up a set card, so he ends up blowing up that Rise of the Abyss King, which ends up letting him search 2 more cards. So he's in really good shape here, and let's see exactly where he's going to take that. Oh, he's going for another copy of Electromite. Fair enough. I mean, Pendulum decks love Electromite because it just constantly lets them plus. He's going to draw a card, and then he's just going to go into the battle phase. So he's doing a good amount of damage here. He could actually go into a Link 4. Nope. He decides to keep the copy of the Kaiju. And oh, now he's going to go for, his opponent's going to fire back with Gradle Slime, and I believe most of the time that you see Gradle Slime, your opponent's trying to go for Gradle Dragon, the Synchro monster. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's going to go for Dragon, and it's very smart to not crack his monsters, but to actually get rid of his Pendulum Scales, because you never want to blow up set speller traps if you're playing against Abyss Actors. That's dumb. That's going to let them plus like infinitely. So he gets rid of the Pendulum Scales, which obviously, restricts his ability to be able to Pendulum Summon. He takes care of all of his monsters. What I would have done, I think I would have rammed Eagle until the Electromite, and then I would have just taken the Electromite, and I would have, because at this point, I think I'd rather have the Electromite than the Eagle. I mean, I guess it's whatever. Anyways, he is going to Pendulum Summon again, and he doesn't really get that far, and he is going to go for Boresword Dragon, and check this play out. He's going to do a ton of damage. He's going to use Boresword's effect. That's going to put the Eagle in defense mode, and man, he takes 6,000 straight to the face, because Boresword Dragon can attack directly twice in this turn that it puts a monster in defense mode. People gotta not sleep on Boresword Dragon. This card is actually really good, and it puts out way more damage than Borreload. So can he do what they do on the anime all the time? Can he have that spicy 100 life point comeback? Find out right now, I guess. He starts his turn. He's going to Pendulum Summon 3, and he once again He's going to force that abyss, or he's going to force that comic relief onto his opponent's side of the field, and depending on which one of these cards his opponent hits, it could be extremely bad for him. Oh, by the way, he ended up snatch stealing the Borosword Dragon at the same time. So that's pretty nice. It's nice when you get to snatch steal your opponent's monster and then you force your opponent to blow up one of your set cards at the same time. So let's see what card he destroys. Oh, this is so bad. So he ends up blowing up the Abyss Stainment, and what this allows him to do is special summon any amount of Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters straight from his deck. So if he had 0 monsters on field, let's just say he had the Borosword and that was it, he would be able to summon like 4 monsters. I think he's going to get 3 monsters this time, and he's going for multiple copies of Superstar. Superstar is a card that lets you set your Abyss script straight from your deck. So he doesn't have any life points, but he's about to fix that with this Opening Ceremony, the card that gives you 500 per Abyss Actor on the field, and he activates it twice because it's not a hard once per turn. It's built into each monster, so he gets 5,000 life points. Seems pretty fair, and at this point he's just going into Electromite. You know, it's just kind of a cherry on top. He doesn't even need Electromite. Keep in mind the Borosword Dragon can do, you know, 6,000 damage by itself. I don't even think he's activating the effect because he didn't really need to at that point, but yeah, just a nice little display. And you know, if he was playing against a high tier deck, maybe he would have had to adjust his plays a little bit, but I think it was just a nice little, you know, a showcase of what the deck can actually do and how comic relief can kind of change duels. Especially, like, you got to be careful about putting big boss monsters on the field against Abyss Actors, because they will use comic relief and they will basically creature swap them to their side of the field. This is what the deck actually looks like on paper. For anybody who's kind of interested, I don't know about the artifacts. Artifacts and Abyss Actors seems like a little bit of a weird mix to me. Maybe he should be running 3 copies of Sanctum instead of running the 3 artifacts. Like, I don't know. Yeah, usually you see more people run like more Sanctums, or at least the same amount of Sanctums as artifacts, because you just don't want to draw artifacts. But I guess you could discard it with Twin Twister. Anyways, if you guys are interested, I will have the download link for this in the description of the video. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.